We live in a galaxy. We call it the Milky Way. It's a large group of stars held together by gravity. It might look something like the picture shown here, but we're not completely sure. We have never seen it from the outside because we live somewhere deep inside it, and it's a big place, so it would take a very long time for us to send a satellite out this far away. But we can look at the stars through our telescopes, and we think that this is more or less its shape. We'll find out a lot more about our home galaxy later on in the story, but it was not one of the first galaxies. They began to form soon after the first stars, about 13.5 billion years ago. Today we're going to watch these early galaxies form. They're called protogalaxies, meaning first galaxies. First, I want to recap about where we've got to in the story. At the very beginning, before inflation, the universe was very tiny, and it was filled with varying amounts of matter which appeared and disappeared in quantum fluctuations, as they're called. Inflation then took over, and this tiny object increased dramatically in size, so that what was a tiny fluctuation now becomes as large as a whole galaxy. We can see these fluctuations in the remnants from the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background radiation. It's denser in some places than others, and we believe that these dense places, these dense areas, were where the first stars formed and then the first galaxies formed, because gravity was slightly stronger in those places. So within these dense regions, normal matter and dark matter began to contract under gravity, and we saw the first stars formed in these dense regions. And when the early stars died, some of them formed black holes. Black holes had strong gravitational fields, and this led to faster contraction. This could have been the reason why the first galaxies formed. A galaxy is a group of stars which is held together by the gravity of the matter and the dark matter inside that group. The first galaxies were called protogalaxies, and they probably collided with each other, and this is an artist's impression of what they might have looked like. As time went on, therefore, the early galaxies grew larger because of collisions, because once two galaxies collided, they tended to stick together because of the force of gravity. And gradually, over time, the galaxies that we know today were formed. The brief situation today is that there are about 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and each of those galaxies contains about 100 billion stars. Some are bigger, some are smaller. One of these stars in one of these galaxies is the Sun, and we'll have much more detail about all of this later in the story.